questions, or you're still there? Okay.
Yeah, I'll make it very short because we overshot our 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think, Your Excellency, based on the last statement, I think the next 2 years is an opportunity for us to disarm our hearts. So let's work on it. Civic and political space. I'm just going to talk on the practicalities. Maybe I'm brought here because we are in the law enforcement sector and we are seen as the people who usually infringe on the civic and political space of the citizen. And let me start with our constitution. Our constitution is very clear. Our constitution, in fact, is very advanced and very liberal because the constitution has incorporated the civil rights. So the civil rights, you can't get more liberal than the civil rights. It is a matter of translating them into laws and so on. And I think this is where we need to look at the gaps in our legal framework, starting with the different acts that are that emanate from the Constitution. So, like for example, the act that was just spoken about, the National Security Act. When you look at it and compare it to the constitutions, of course, clearly there are contradictions. And this needs to be addressed. But let me come to the practical situation, the practice and the law. So the Constitution is clear, but our practice probably needs to be looked into, which means what is needed here is awareness. Awareness amongst the organized forces. The organized forces who usually deal with the public, because most of the time we are the culprit when people talk about denying political space. This is important for the constitution making because constitution making is a people's process. People will be expressing their desires, what they want to see in their constitution, and the nature of the country they want to see and the state they want to see. They need to have that freedom to be able to express themselves without fear. So sometimes, even if there's no intention of not allowing you to express yourself, there is the fear. So we need to really free our people from fear by also educating and making aware our organized forces so that we don't intimidate. Our job is basically to safeguard, protect. We are supposed to be protecting the civic and political space for people to be able to express themselves freely, at the same time enforcing the law. At the same time enforcing the law. So freedom of expression does not mean that you can go insult or you can go abuse and so on. That would be now infringing on the rights of the other person. So when you talk of the civic and political space, it is not only the institutions and the law enforcement agencies, but also we as citizens. Sometimes we infringe on the rights of others to be able to express themselves freely and so on. So this will quickly take me to the fact that, you know, democratic transition, one of the requirement and element is this civic and political space. Because we are now not in democracy, but we are working towards democratic transitioning to democracy. Because now we are in transition, and this transition itself is governed by, you heard, the legal frameworks of the agreement and the constitution and so on and so forth. You can recognize a free society, a free democracy, when you find a vibrant, a strong civil society, a vibrant, free and strong media. So these are the two other informal pillars of a democratic government, because people talk about the three pillars, but in fact, a democratic government has two other pillars. This is, and therefore checks and balances. This is the media and the civil society. So I'm saying we will work together. We are not there yet, but we have come a long way. Just imagine 3 years ago, the space politically and the space civically. And imagine today, I believe there is progress, but there is still so much that needs to be done. We still need to look at the gaps in our legal frameworks. We still need to look at the training of our people and our organized forces, so that by the time when we come to election, you only inform the police if you're holding a rally, for reasons to ensure that there is no any other rally happening in the vicinity, so that two parties don't at least get into the same space and may end up in violence. So it would be basically for your own protection. You inform us, so we prepare ourselves, so we provide your security, and we also advise you to ensure that there is no conflict in the process of you carrying out your own activities of the political parties. I believe the reason why it is put here, I only saw my name, but I didn't know that such thing was going to be discussed. I believe because the states, the governance of the states, and the states is where the people are, is where the campaign is going to take place, is where the constitution making process is going to take place. I believe that is why it is brought as a discussion here. So we can only say that the states need to be supported in that they are able actually to provide that protection for the citizen during these activities. So with that, Your Excellency, I would say thank you very much.
I want to give chance for others to ask the panelists. Yes. Any questions? Governors on civil. Yeah, I know you want to go home, but let me finish my job. Yeah. No questions? Well, if no questions, that is beautiful.